Theriault, the man of the year, the 2017 ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards, champion with 7 wins.
You wanted all sorts of racetracks?
Hello and welcome to the New York Sports. I'm your host, Dominic Kahns. We have NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series driver Austin Theriault on. Hello and welcome to the New York Sports Show.
Hey Dominic, it's good to be with you.
Thank you so much for being on. Now, for those who don't know, Austin Theriault competes part-time in the NASCAR, driving the number 52 for Wick Wheel Racing. Now, first of all, what's that like? You made your debut at the 2019 Foxwoods Resort Casino 301 at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. What was that like?
It was awesome. I spent so much time at that track as a kid. Used to watch as a fan. You know, my favorite driver at the time was Mark Martin. And little did I know, I guess at the time, that I'd have a shot at racing there one day. And I actually made several starts in the lower series. And it was such a dream come true to go back there and race in the Cup race and see what it was finally like to get behind the wheel of a Cup car. I think a lot of people have that dream, but not many people ever really make it a reality. So it was a humbling experience and exciting experience, and looking forward to making other starts.
That is really cool. You know, like you're right, a lot of people do have that dream, but they don't really pursue it or they don't get there. I mean, you're at the top. You're at the highest you could go in NASCAR. You're in the Monster Energy Cup Series. Now, for those who don't know, Austin Theriault, you're the 2017 ARCA champion. What was that like, knowing that you're a champion?
It was great working with a guy like Kenny Schrader, who has been running ARCA. He's had a team for many years and been trying to win a championship with different drivers over the years. And he too raced back in the Winston Cup Series when it was Winston, and he retired eventually. And he still races from time to time. He has dirt cars and he races around the country. But having the opportunity to race for him was just an awesome experience, because I learned a lot from him as a driver, as a person, and he was kind of an inspiration to me, because he has racing in his blood, and he'll race anything he can, and he still does to this day, even as a retired NASCAR driver. So opportunities like that have been presented to me a lot in my career, and I've had an opportunity to work with some pretty awesome people. But it's just great to have a championship on the resume in ARCA. There's a lot of NASCAR drivers that have been really successful have won championships in ARCA.
Yeah, you're right. Like the top drivers today, they did start in ARCA. Now, going on to the K&N Pro Series, in 2016, you won the K&N Pro Series East Most Popular Driver. Now, what was that like, knowing that you were the most popular driver of that season?
Well, one of the things that I'm really grateful for also is coming from the Northeast. I have a lot of fans up there, especially in Maine, New Hampshire area. So when you have a loyal fan base, anytime there's a sort of a contest for most popular driver or anything where they have to be involved and on social media, we always get a lot of involvement. So it was a humbling time that winning that particular award. I remember when they announced it, at the banquet in 2016. So there's drivers and certainly drivers that have a large following, but I'm just so happy that the people that have followed me over the years have been just so loyal, and they continue to support me.
And that is really cool. Congratulations on that. Now, going back to the NASCAR, when did you find out that you were making your debut? Was it like a week before, a month before? Like, how did you find out?
Well, I've been trying to make it happen for about 6 months before I made the start, and we had some good involvement from local companies up there. Bangor Savings Bank, that was their first NASCAR race as well. So if it wasn't for their making it possible for me to do that, who knows? Maybe I would have made my start next year or the year after. So just certainly in racing, things can come down to the wire, and a lot of things happen last minute. Fortunately, like I said, it seemed like the announcement all happened very quickly and whatnot, but anytime that there's an announcement, usually there's been planning, and I've been trying to plan to make this happen, especially making my debut at Loudon because it means so much to me. I've been planning that for quite a few months.
And that is really awesome. Now, did you imagine when you were 10 years old and stuff like that? Did you ever imagine yourself being at the top level of NASCAR?
No, Dominic, I didn't actually. It's funny to think back and just remember those days because I was a NASCAR fan, and like I said, Mark Martin was my favorite driver. So he's the reason that I watched the races. And if you look at it, a lot of the drivers do have favorite drivers that sort of inspired them to pursue racing. So I didn't start racing until I was 13. So as a 10-year-old kid, I was just a fan, and realistically, didn't really know any of this was even possible until I turned about 18.
Yeah, and you made it happen. You at the top level. Is there anything else that you would like to say?
Well, just that it's been an exciting journey. A lot of life lessons learned and ups and downs along the way. I've learned sometimes even more during the difficult times than I have when it was easy and when we were winning races and championships. So, I take all those lessons that I learned and I try to apply them every single day. And the biggest lesson that sticks out to me is just continuing to persevere. And when it seems like things are really, really hard, usually that's when there's good opportunities around the next corner.
Thank you once again for being on. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that was NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series driver Austin Theriault. Thank you so much for being on.
Thanks again, and have a good day.